Our part of the poem begins in line 66 and extends all the way to line 127. The Black Cottage is aptly named because it was fresh painted by the shower of velvet black, stated in line 6. In addition, the title is oxymoronic as black creates a tone of mystery and death. On the other hand, cottage creates a tone of warmth and tranquility. The Black Cottage tells the story of a minister and a poet who is the speaker of the poem. They stumble upon an abandoned cottage, and the minister starts telling the poet the story behind the cottage. It was owned by a woman who had already died, but liked to tell stories about the Civil War, in which her husband fought and died in. The sons of the woman once held the cottage as it holds sentimental value. Several themes can be seen in this poem, including the theme of change and the theme of breaking tradition. The woman was a very forward-thinking person, a woman unlike her times. The minister then talks of how he almost changed the creed of the church for the sake of the newer members. He dreams of a desert land where there would be no problem in dealing with change in society. His ideas come across as wishful thinking as a result of his inability to cope with the change around him. Frost uses an allusion to historical figure President Thomas Jefferson and his principle of equality for all men. This gives the poem a more personal feel and puts it in context as the minister is talking about the Civil War. It also shows that this poem is a conversational discussion, as many would bring up historical figures in a conversation. He is questioning Jefferson's principle and then being in denial and wonders what is to be independent and what is the worth of equality. The use of caesura reiterates lack of structure in natural speech. Here the minister again refers to Jefferson. Also, the minister lacks seriousness because he reflects the experiences of others as opposed to themselves. Gives a sense that this will last a long time, and each generation will have to figure it out for themselves. After this reflection, the minister moves on back to the old woman and her philosophy by saying the only race the old woman knew was white, and she barely encountered black, and never a mix of both, stated as yellow never. This may be the minister questioning God, or demonstrating the old woman's reasoning about race. The minister is able to mock the old lady in an affectionate manner for her pride and resilience towards her beliefs.
This quote shows how the old lady was a forward thinker towards her views on equality and human rights, and was powerful in her innocence. The word strange shows that her mentality was different from everyone else's at that time. This quote provides the reader with a feeling of uncertainty. The word force refers to the innocence and simplicity of her beliefs. The way the minister says, "Do you know?" sounds very conversational and leads him to recollect the time he was thinking about changing the creed for the sake of fashion. This is also a reference to the decrease in religiously inclined people in the modern world. This quote suggests that the woman kept the minister from changing the creed. This quote alludes to the Apostles' Creed and refers to Christ's harrowing of hell. In this quote, the word pagan means irreligious, and liberal youth refers to the changed and changing culture in which the minister lives in. This quote shows the minister praising the old woman's resilience and unquestioning faith. This creates a tone of admiration. This simile stands for the old lady representing nostalgia for a simpler age, unchallenged by a modern world. The woman is a child in her simplicity. This quote shows how the minister is set in his beliefs and is opposed to change. This is ironic since the woman is a forward thinker and is ahead of her time, but did not get to live at that time where her ideals of equality would be shared by most, while the minister, whom is stuck in the past, made it to the future. This again shows the minister's reluctance for change. He does not want to let go of his old beliefs. As long as he still believes in his ideals, it will be true.
Here, the minister is showing how ideals and beliefs change only due to public opinion and acceptance. There is a different view on politics. The anaphora shows the minister's wishful thinking. He wants to live in a place that is unchanging. This is visual imagery in which the reader can imagine being surrounded by mountains covered in snow. This shows how the minister wants to live surrounded by nature, as nature is unchanging. This shows how the minister wants to be in a place so isolated that it will be not worth it to implement change. He will live in a place where change and progress could not reach him. In this section, the themes of change and tradition versus progress can be seen. Repetition of over and over emphasizes how there is no change and that truths can be preserved. The alliteration of the S sound mimics the sound of sand, which creates a sound of sense technique. The reader can picture himself in this desert land. In this line, it can be seen that the minister is pulled back from his perfect place. The dashed line also signifies that what is to come holds an important message. It is important to note that the last three lines are separated from the whole poem or the large continuous stanza. Additionally, the bees are a symbol of nature that in the end is indifferent to human truths. The sunset placed on the windows encompasses the theme of transcendence versus transience. It can be interpreted in two ways. One, it can mean the cottage still has life. The spirit of the woman and her beliefs are still there, which raises the question of values being able to surpass limits, even death. Two, it can symbolize the burial of the old lady and her beliefs, which would mean values disappear with time.
Overall, the Black Cottage symbolizes how the beliefs of different generations change over time, especially in America. The owner of the Black Cottage, the old lady, had a modern philosophy that was not common in her lifetime. Now in the minister's lifetime, he has to face these liberal beliefs that he's against but has to confront due to popular stance.
And leads him to recollect.
In conclusion, the Black Cottage...
Oh my! This quote alludes to the Apostles' Creed.